Hey, Scott White here. I am a private investigator for over 20 years, and I've been in the unclaimed funds industry for over 10. My business is completely devoted to different types of unclaimed funds, surpluses, overages, and what I wanted to talk to you today about is the 5 Ds, which is a framework that actually goes over everything that you need to know from start to finish of how to do this business, of how to work professionally and make money on an ongoing basis in unclaimed funds. So if you're watching this right now, I'm not sure where you're at. You might be somebody that's taken a course or have just been browsing videos on YouTube or Facebook or whatever, or maybe you've just started to practice, maybe you've closed a couple deals, or maybe you're having a hard time closing that first one. And after this video today, hopefully you're going to understand what you might need to beef up on in this 5 Ds framework that I'm going to go over with you today. So the first D that you need to know is discover. So when I say discover, I am talking about the stage of the case where you're discovering if there are funds available, what type of funds. You're finding maybe a list, or you're looking up a resource or some type of a source that has funds. And you're going to discover if there's funds available, because availability is really important. You don't want to work on something that's no longer available. So you're going to want to know if they're available. You're going to want to know the rules of what it's going to take in order to recover those funds for a third party. Is there a fee limitation? Is there no fee limitation? Do you have to be an attorney to do this? Or can you just be a regular person that just wants to help somebody? So this is all part of the discover process. So you really want to know these types of things before you even begin any sort of research or to the next D, which is detect, okay? So under the detect phase, you have identified funds that you want to work. You know the rules, you understand that they're available, and now you're going to detect who is entitled. Based on the rules that you know about the funds, you're also going to want to make sure that you detect who is entitled and what priority. Sometimes there are people or entities that have a lower priority of interest over somebody else. So you're going to detect who's entitled and to what degree. So you're going to want to know if somebody might be entitled, if somebody else doesn't claim in front of them, well, that's not as good of a claim as this person who's got first dibs at the funds. You're also going to want to detect if it's an estate, if the person that was entitled to funds has deceased. There might be a probate that's open or a probate that needs to be opened for an estate in order to get these funds. You're going to look at all of this. You're also going to detect, based on your research, who's entitled. You're going to try to detect where they're at, who they're associated with. So you can go on to this next D, which is, I'll write it out here, deploy. Once you've done your research, it's time to deploy. It's time to reach out, do your outreach. It's a sales process at this point. You're going to try to talk to people. There's some investigative stuff that's going on right now as well, because you're going to try to find out more information. Maybe you don't have a full picture under the detect phase, and you're going to need to talk to people to fill it in. Like maybe you're not sure if somebody passed away or not. Maybe you're not sure who is a successor trustee on a trust, and you're going to need to talk to people to get more information. Maybe you're not sure, if it's a business that's owed money, who's running the business at this point. So you're going to need to deploy your efforts into figuring that out. This stage is also where you're going to be contracting with people, and you want to do so in a way that protects you. So you're going to deploy the information that you have, but in a way that doesn't sell out yourself, meaning you're not going to give them all of the information that's going to allow them to go around you and go, try to do it on their own. Not saying that they can usually do it on their own, but you want to remove all temptation. So you want to deploy your agreements, and you want to deploy your contracts in a strategic way that protects you and gives you an interest in the funds once they've signed with you. So if for some reason they have a change of heart later on, you're still entitled to recover money for the work that you've done. So very important step, deploy. And then finally, once you've deployed your agreement, you've gotten that back, it's time to deliver on your promise. You're going to deliver on your agreement that you have with the party or parties that you've contracted with. And so if you've done your work under discover and detect, that's going to help you deliver on the funds. If you understand what the problems are, the underlying problems, who's entitled, how to prove that, you can definitely deliver a lot better at that point when it comes time to make that case or make that claim on behalf of your represented party of interest. And finally, if you've done everything right, it is time to distribute. And that is where you distribute the funds, obviously, to your fee, to the parties of interest that you've contracted with, any contractors that you've hired. You're paying everybody out at that point, and you're distributing the funds. This is really the 5 steps that every case has. It doesn't matter what type of fund that you're working on, it's going to go through this framework. So my question to you is, where are you at with this framework? Are you very, very good at one or all 5 areas? Have you been trained up, or are you weak in 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5 areas? Where are you at this point? And where do you need to go in order to get to that point to turn this into a business that actually makes you money and makes money for your clients, of course? I mean, that's the whole point of this. You're contracting with people or entities, business entities that are entitled to these funds, and you're delivering, right? You're delivering at the very end and distributing the funds to them as per your promise. Where are you at? I'd love to hear where you're at in the comments. If you're weak in any of those areas, join my group right now, Fund Sleuth, on Facebook. Join Fund Sleuth. Free videos, free information, everything is free on there. Reach out to me if you have questions. You can send me a message, but do it right now. If you're interested in this industry, make sure you know this framework. If you're going to take a course, make sure this framework is taught. Maybe it's a different name, but maybe they don't use the 5 Ds like I do. This is something that I've created. But understand that these exist in every type of case, and make sure that those bases are covered before you invest your hard-earned money into a course that may or may not pan out for you. Thanks a lot. Have a great one.